The artist is the most formidable of practitioners. They ride the bull through the darkness, hoping to not fall off into the abyss of shame when meeting with their own shadows. As James Baldwin says, all art is a kind of confession, more or less oblique. All artists, if they are to survive, are forced to tell the story, to vomit anguish up, or as Zoe Whittall suggests from Instagram. I wish authors would get 3 close friends to blurb their books. She was very depressed when she wrote, but she did it. We're very proud. She has no other skills, so we worry. Please buy this book so she'll stop talking about it. Whatever the way, the artist must have dual citizenship, for that is the underworld from which all art issues. The love dog of yearning. Art and love, the sacred and sex, are the response to that yearning. The artist must be both wave and ocean. But to be seen in that light by one's own eyes requires great unflinching heart. Courage, from the word kur, meaning heart. This, more than any medium, is what we are tasked to do. This is the preparation stage. Now, David Lynch is a much better PR person than I am. He goes straight beneath the sludge to the shimmering illumination that's available underneath it. See, I feel obligated to make sure that you know what you're getting into. A tablespoon, though, of that illumination would light up the night sky and contain with it enough vision to fill every gallery on the globe, run every country ethically. But we discover that we are fortunate if we make it back with a single gold speck. He talks about the place you land, what J.K. Rowling refers to as hitting the bottom that is the new bedrock. This is why artists, as Mihai Csikszentmihalyi states, are both unreasonably confident and humble. Confidence is the result of touching the ground of vision. The humbling, the result of having to see yourself stark naked with belly rolls of pride and emaciated cheeks of control. It says, you ever wish the light didn't exist? That's the comment. It's why Tibetan Buddhists say those of high birth are called either to teach or to be artists. So if you're here, you may have always felt different. You may have a sideways thinking mind that sees differently. What others see as wrong with you may be exactly what's right with you. That is why I said yes to speaking tonight. I wanted to say that to that girl. I wanted that voice to be heard in the world. And to say, have compassion for the workers of the factory and its antics that tell each of us to turn back, like Hansel and Gretel when we come to the edge of the dark forest. The issue is that those who enter can scarcely speak what happens, and those who turn back have plenty to say, because the ego fallacy is threatened, because it knows it's just pumping shitty preservatives and empty calories. It keeps the mind too fat to just walk out of the gig. Or as David Foster Wallace says, it's a big channel to swim, this becoming art. This channel we swim is from here to the ethereal floating island that art aims to bring us to. But this is the way. You swim and you swim. You fear drowning. You swallow salt water that is most likely your own tears. You get tangled in seaweed, the whole 9 yards, but you fall away in the process. And look, there's one island, many entry points. You can't glimpse it from the shore and get it. You learn the water by getting wet. Eventually, you become the water itself. Or as my Drupon says, you remember that you are the wave and the ocean, not just the wave. As the wave, you think yourself separate. The factory worker thinks himself separate, and in exchange, it gets to be the arbiter. It gets to pontificate. It gets to be the critic. They're the ones that, while you're guzzling plankton, will critique your breaststroke. But we haven't made it to that point yet. If I were you, I'd still be kicking the tires, looking for a better deal. A yacht or a boat, some way to get all over that water. I'll tell you that the channels are too narrow, and even just as your body, you'll have to winnow your way through. But there are still things that you might want to do on dry land. I mean, you never married. Maybe you never tried camembert in Paris. That was way out. On a warm baguette. You didn't do ayahuasca or live in a yurt. I'll say what I've said for 30 years, something that my teachers might not love, as my aim is to inspire, but one that I feel obligated to make. If you can escape the lure of the water, do. It's not a journey one makes half-heartedly. Even with a healthy heart, you'll be sure you're having heart attacks every day. If anything, I want to dissuade you and not persuade you. And if my metaphors don't, try this. The fear that lurks in the back of every sane person's mind, that you will lose just that, your sanity. Well, that's a possibility. This is why mystical traditions and art mystics alike always have the same madman as the totem. From Lama Drupa, Kunli to Rumi, Bukowski to Trungpa, the difference lies in the luminosity of the madness. The mere madman exists in a dark realm, the mystic in the light that wants to become the lighthouse.